Hey guys, Sean here, and welcome to another episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. And thankfully, I am by myself. Well, not entirely, but I'm by myself in the room. But I have the controls over Zoom, so if he starts to annoy me, I can mute the guy anytime I want, even though I end up not doing that. Eric, we've got another episode of the podcast going.
We do.
How are you keeping?
We're another week older and another week wiser, Sean. And to be honest, I have to say that's probably the best intro you've done in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to this episode. It's been a good week, and I don't know whether it's because the weather got a little bit better. I got 2 runs in myself, so starting to progress back from the injury as well. But there's just something about the weekend. It's just a really chilled out weekend. I know, like in terms of the relation to COVID and stuff, I know everyone's hearing about it and looked like we were kind of regressing, but there's just a nice kind of chilled out atmosphere. Even seeing people walking and going for little jogs around the town. I'm at home here. But yeah, I was really looking forward to doing this episode. It's just that kind of nice Sunday feeling, even though it's going to be Monday morning when everyone's listening to it. But I don't know if everyone else had that same feeling this weekend, but it was just a nice week, and that bit of sunshine, I think, just bringing everyone into that good mood, and it's getting people wanting to get out there again and go for a run because we're not seeing the showers. And I'm really looking forward to this episode. There's a couple of things lined up, don't we?
We do indeed. Sure, I was at yours last night, and when I walked out the door, first thing Sunday morning, and it was just that summer sun when it's just bright and it's good weather and it feels warm. You're walking out the door. I don't care who you are. It doesn't. I'd rather in the summertime. I don't go to different part of the country or different part of the world. Obviously, we can't right now, but in terms of Ireland and the sun and all the rest, there's no better place to be right now. That's where usually September we go somewhere else.
No, definitely not. And I was wondering, actually, based on that, I only just thought of this now, completely off topic. I read an article last week, Sean, about seasonal training. And pretty much the premise was, and it's made so much sense from what you've said to how I'm feeling, and it's just all clicked. Basically, it's saying in the winter, when it's raining, it's miserable. It's dark from 4:30 and it's not bright till 8:30 in the morning. Like, you're going to work dark, it's home dark, you're not motivated to train. And it's actually a lot of people actually. And that's why the triathlon, I think, is brilliant, because it's a summer season. And that's what I was like, why am I falling in love with it so much? One, it's the people. People are fantastic in triathlons. They're very encouraging people. People who just like looking after themselves. It's a lifestyle. It's not just a race. It is a lifestyle, and getting out and getting fit and seeing the country on a bike or on a run or on a trail. But in the winter, like, I remember going, like, I really don't want to run. It's like -3. It's windy. The rain is falling sideways. Yep. And I have to go run 10K, and you're really grinding it out. And I was on a run when I was down in Nace Triathlon Club. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was miserable. It was really miserable. And standing there before the run, we were running, and he was like, you have to do the winter miles for the summer smiles. And I was like, that actually does. It kind of eased the little pain of it. But then as I was reading this article, it did actually say that in this particular instance, and there's always methods of training, but in this particular instance, like, your training should match the seasons, because like that, you need to maintain through those horrible months. You need to do the minimum to keep you doing, or maybe do the short, sharp stuff, the injury prevention stuff, the strength building, the conditioning. And then as you get into the easier, the springtime, you're getting them later evenings, that's when you start extending your long runs. And it actually made so much sense. And it was completely made, and even as I just intro there, it's like, geez, that's that sun in the morning. You wouldn't, and it's like the other morning we put up a post on. I went for a swim out in Dunleary for sunrise at 5 o'clock in the morning, like an absolute idiot. I wouldn't get out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't even if my boss was paying me, I wouldn't get out at 5 o'clock in the morning. But for whatever reason, that bit of morning sun, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're going for it, and it's just surreal, and it just feels good. And then you have the late evening, and you're awake for 18, 19 hours a day. When you go to the winter, you're like, 12 hours, you nearly want to go to bed because it's miserable. But that article actually resonated so much now, that even though we've talked about it, it's just that training can actually be scheduled around the seasons as well. It was really interesting read. We might actually root it out and put it up there for the listeners about how athletes, and I suppose that's probably why athletes head off for their warm weather winter training, and so they can keep that high level kind of intensity in long runs and stuff. But 100%. I might get that opportunity in the next couple of weeks, Sean. But for the rest of it, it just made so much sense now, and I can see why in the summer, and that's I think why I love the triathlons in the summer. It's just that summer feeling, the late evenings, the late cycles, and it's just a great. And after a race, having a couple of beers and stuff, because it's not all about fitness. It is, I do enjoy the finer sides of all the effort.
The balance there.
Absolutely, yeah, that's what it's all about. Like, we're not professional athletes. We talk like we are, Sean, but we're not. But it's actually, it is enjoyable when you have a long cycle and a cold beer, even a Heineken Zero, and whatever people's choice is. It's just something nice to kind of enjoy and sit with friends. And now that we can get out, I'm appreciating it more than ever. Really am.
Yeah. I enjoyed it, a couple of beers and whiskeys more than the next person. And, I always use the Nike Run app, and they always set, different records. And if you run like 3 times a week, to give you an award, or 5 times a week, you give an award, and every Sunday. But one of the awards for it is if you run 12 months of the year, you get an award. And I've been using it since 2017 for my last 3 marathons. And I've never got to 12 months, because once I always do the Dublin Marathon at the end of October, which we're going to talk about in a second. November, December, I don't run. That's strength training. That's back in the gym, because, I get up at 5 o'clock most mornings, but most mornings I have to go to work. And in the winter, it's hell getting up. But if you get up at 5 o'clock in the summer, it's a little bit easier when the sun's up, when you're waking up, no matter what time it is.
Yeah. And like, mine would be the same. So I was actually, I could have been you who showed it to, but it was like my build up to the marathon was like, April, June, July. I was in the triathlon season, but my miles in the running was like 170k in this month, 190k in this month, 210 in this one, 250, and like they were really building up. And then you see October, and it was like an insane amount. And then November, December, I think I went for a walk or something for the 2 months.
That was it.
I just went on the beer and ate everything. I explained, I put on about 4 kilos over the space of the 2 months, but it was a hard January.
It's Christmas.
Yeah. But I did swear this year though. This year I'm gonna just maintain and do different. I can't give myself that much of a big hill in January to leave a go too long. But yeah, and it is true. Like, once you complete that, like after the marathon, it's kind of like there's no triathlon, there's no marathon. Like, now what? Now there is the Donadee 5k half marathon, and that's in January, so it's a nice little thing to train for. But my mind was not on half marathons come November, December. I was definitely enjoying the finer side of a hard year spent. But yeah, the whole seasonal training definitely made sense.
Yeah, I love the gym training, especially November, December. I suppose you call it the bulking season from there, November, December. And I guess January is like, okay, work towards the beach body and stuff like that. As vain as it is, you're taking in as many calories as you can between November, December. The marathon's done, you feel great, and you build from there. But speaking of the marathon and building up the miles and kilometers towards that, last year doing Dublin Marathon, and this is where I struggle with my training. That last little push where you're getting the 30 to 35k, I really struggled in that. Now, my marathon prep wasn't the best last year, and I got signed up to it months and months in advance, but I went off on holidays in September. I had 2 weeks free for the first time in years, and I was during those 2 weeks, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all in on this and make sure I get under my 4-hour goal and finally say I did it, because it was annoying me for the last couple of years. And I was doing a lot of miles each day. Like, I do a 10K on a Tuesday, 20K on a Wednesday, and 10K on a Thursday. And believe you me, that the difference between the Tuesday 10K and the Thursday 10K was huge. But I was trying to build the miles up on the legs. But I never got past that 25, 30K mark. I don't even think I hit 30K. And like 2-3 weeks before the marathon, I remember running to the park. I specifically remember coming up by the Pope's Cross, and a guy passed me out, and I just got in my head, I need to catch him. I tried to catch towards him, just keep it up. My legs gave out, and that was it. I was done. I couldn't run anymore, and it was a long walk back to the apartment going, I'm not going to be able to run 42K in a couple of weeks' time. But the marathon came. I did the 42.2K. The crowds were there, and I think that's what got me through it. Just the crowds and the mental approach to it, and just knowing on this time with everyone around, you have to do it, and that's it. With that said, they just announced this week the virtual marathon, virtual Dublin City Marathon. You're going to have an app there where you can run anytime between the Saturday and the Monday of the October bank holiday. And wherever you are during your run, you'll be able to look at this app, and they're really pushing the app. So you look at it and go, oh, if I was doing a Dublin City Marathon, I'd be coming out of the Phoenix Park here at the 5-6K kilometer mark, whatever it is, 10K kilometer mark coming out of the park. I'd be here, with Chaplin, whatever it is. And what's put me off doing it, and the medal came out as class. I'm like, can I push myself 42.2K? Forget about PBs and stuff like that. It's not about that. It's just going out. The mental ability to keep going for the 4 hours, whatever it is, without crowds, without that buzz, without that adrenaline rush. Can I push myself to that event? And then when it's done, it's just, where do you go from here? Like,
and not only that, Sean, on that, there's a whole support network of a race. You know, you've people there to look after you in case you have a little banger. There's toilets on the route. There's
water stations galore.
Water stations. There's kids hanging out oranges and jellies out of their houses and stuff to distract the mind. And I think that, as you said, when you were in the park that time, he ran past you, you were like, I'm going to catch him. And then your mind gave up. Your legs would have probably worked, but mentally, once that first bit of failure hit, you were like, I'm done. Yep. And that's all it takes.
So what I mean, like that,
I don't know.
Go,
yeah. I just don't know. Like, as in, like, they're saying follow the app, right? And I'm all for the technology, and it's virtual, and it's the best we can do. And like, when I go out on a run, like, the last thing I want to be doing is carrying the phone in the hand and looking down. My arms would be killing me after. Like, when you run the marathon, like, because I carry my hands slightly higher than above elevation, which I shouldn't, I have to keep shaking them out and running. Like, your hands actually start going numb because I'm carrying them so high. Like, and you start to notice, shake out the hands. The blood isn't flowing to my fingers anymore. Like, I can't imagine carrying the phone and getting motivated by, I'm at the Phoenix Park, and then you're kind of going, well, I'm actually in Crumlin or Tote, or I'm in Tipperary. Like, do you know, like, whereas everyone knows when I get through the park, I'm actually after climbing to the top. I can actually cruise down through Castleknock before I get up the hill into past Chapel Lizard. That's a big hill, slow the pace. You know, like, and nothing will substitute. Now, they are doing the best they can, and it is a fantastic idea, but nothing 100%. Will substitute the actual event. There is that extra, like, I'm only good for the 30K. My legs gave up after 35K, but it was the event that got me through to the 42.2. I couldn't give up. I couldn't stop. No matter how slow I had to go, I was running like Forrest Gump with his braces on. I had to get there. I had to cross the finish line. Parents were there. Whereas, what happens now, like, when you're cramping at 27K and you're just like, I'm running past my house for the fourth time. I'm not running past it again. I'd say we would have the mentality. We are stubborn, and a lot of people who do marathons are stubborn. So I think we would be able to do it. Yes. Would I enjoy it? Probably not.
No.
I think it's No, we had Ruben on. Ruben was on a few weeks ago. He ran a marathon in the mountains just for the crack. But there's a different kind of thing when you're just setting out a goal that I'm going to run a marathon. Like Ozzy Doyle posted there during the week, he ran like 30 odd K there from Marley Park through the mountains, and like, he's doing that just because it's part of his training for a bigger thing. So I just find it hard when you're like training for the Dublin City Marathon and you're running at an app. I don't know if it has the same feel. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy-minded to not enjoy it.
That's what Ruben did, and Ruben actually has signed up for the virtual marathon because we put a post on the Any Given Runday, the running club, the group post, and I was just like, just out of interest, in terms of what way do we take the group, is there a lot of interest to build towards this virtual marathon? And a lot of people are sticking to 5 and 10K, which is great, and a few people actually have signed up for the virtual marathon, including Ruben. What stuck out to me about Ruben's run was he built a big event around it. You know, we got a taxi up at 4:30 in the morning up to the mountains, and his goal was to get from point A to point B through the mountains kind of way. I think that's going to be the key to this. And that's what I'm struggling with, is how do you build? I want to build an event around it. I can't, and with the greatest respect to Oren Murphy, and he had it for a different cause, for Childline. He had the Marathon State. He had that gimmick, I suppose, behind it, where he had to run the laps. It was 129 laps, I think it was. But he was doing it for a great cause. But he still had that event and that thing behind it. It's like, I can't just do, a couple of laps to Phoenix Park or that kind of thing. I have to make an event and a day out of it. And that's one of the things that got me with Dublin City Marathon. That's one of the reasons I want to do it for the fourth year in a row, is that I love the day out. I love the atmosphere,
the nerves,
the day out.
The night before, the whole lot, the people around you. And now, it is different. We're looking at it different. But I suppose we kind of hit on it before we even get into this topic with the triathlon. The reason I enjoy doing the triathlon, like, I did 4 Olympic triathlons in 4 weeks. I'm afraid of open water. I I can swim. I can go on a holiday. I can paddle around. I can swim. But swimming in open water, I'm not the quickest swimmer. But that was a big step. But I wanted to do it for myself. And then I said, well, if I can do one, I can do four. But the best part of that was when the race was finished, was the enjoyment of meeting the people, having a couple of beers that you've earned for the last 3 hours. But like, I think we are just suckers for the event. Now, I admire people who are going out there to go run 4 laps of Phoenix Park. It's roughly 10K. 4 laps of Phoenix Park will get you there with a couple of ins and outs and change of sceneries. You will get your 42, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Like even that the four triathlons you did, correct me if I'm wrong on this, one of them there wasn't a big event in the end, there wasn't a t-shirt and stuff like that. I remember talking to the phone, you're like, Seán, I did this, I got nothing at the end of it. I didn't even get a couple of jellies or nothing.
I didn't get a medal, I didn't get a hat, I didn't get nothing. You just crossed the finish line and then it was like, okay, off you go. See ya. I was like, what?
And I was on the phone with you afterwards. I was like, oh, you're doing a great thing, you know, because you didn't do triathlons before this. And you had it in your mind, I'm doing 4 weeks. You're traveling all different parts of the country. I'm on the phone, like, how did this one go? And that's the only thing you could talk about. Like, and that just shows it. Like, it's not about getting free things or anything like that, but it's just the event.
It definitely helps.
It does. The atmosphere helps. I've talked about before on the podcast how, like, the atmosphere definitely helps, and how the third marathon I did mentally was the easiest. And for me, the marathon finishes when you take that final left off Vincent Hospital. It's a long 3 kilometers straight at the end. And like, it's a good 15, well, my time was good 15, 16 minutes in. And now, obviously my pace was the slowest it was, but you're pushing people along who are walking. You're like, come on, keep it going. You're half saying it for yourself and all the rest. And the crowds get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as you get towards the end. And it's just that incredible atmosphere and the events and stuff afterwards. So we went out and all that night. We made a big day. We got food afterwards. And, you know, we made a big weekend out of that. And it's like, how do you do that now when it's virtual? Especially now in terms of, we don't know what the restrictions. Can you even go into a bar at the end of this, wherever you are? You're not going to. We hope you can, but at the moment it's August 10th. It could be longer. Like,
and it is ironic we talk about this. Like, as in, we're not ones, myself and yourself. We're not ones to ever look for the pat on the back, like, oh, well done. No. Like, okay, right, we're doing a podcast telling people how great we are, and people listen. But what we're trying to like. When I did the triathlon at that time, that was a big step for me in conquering the fears and stuff. But I was on my own, and I had a buddy Tom training with me. Like, I was on my own in the pool at stupid o'clock. I was training late, studying hard, working hard, and there was no one there to give you the medal. And I was traveling around the country on my own for most of these races just because I said I was going to do this. And then the little kind of justification at the end of each one was, for me, the medal is claiming something, as in, like, I have something there for me that says in 5 years I can look back and go, I did that. And that's where I started, and that's what I did. When we were training for the marathon, you'd even look at my runs. I'd go out and run like 32, 33K on a Sunday long run. I'd kind of leave the zonal training and just go hard at it just to see how I felt. And you'd be like, what are you going doing 33K? And the only motivation I got was the watch stopped at 2.5 hours or whatever it was. And then I just looked down and went, oh, 32K. And that was it. That was the day over. There's no pat in the back. It's just a training session. And so we're not saying that we have to get the pat in the back every time. It's just when you're building for something like that with the medal and the excitement and your family are behind you and wishing you well and the promos, and when it goes virtual. Now, there's Ironmans that are going on virtual all over the world and they're doing that kind of the cycle and the run through virtual means and stuff, but I just don't. I for me, although I'd love to do it, I don't see myself doing it.
I think I'll eventually do it, but I think with the Ironmans, they're at set times, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they're on the bikes and they can see on grid. Am I right in that? You can see grids. They're racing. The who's against who. So there's a competitive thing to it, whereas this one, and in fairness to them, they're doing the best they can. They're setting it for all weekend. And ideally, I like to do it sometime on a Saturday and have the rest of the weekend recover and enjoy the October bank holiday. But if it was maybe if it was like, okay, 9 o'clock, wherever you are, you got to go and you see other people. But then again, getting 20, 30,000 people on an app and seeing different positions and all that, like the marathon's not about that.
And how are you going to do it when you're like, sweat is in your eyes and you're trying to look at your phone? You're like, I can't even unlock this thing anymore.
Does a phone even last 4 hours if it's used non-stop? Like,
no, I don't even know. Like, and I definitely couldn't do it on a treadmill, that's for sure. Jesus,
oh God, no.
Oh, I think that's a sad existence there now for me. I wouldn't be able for it.
One of my last runs before the marathon, I did an hour 15. I think I did 15, 16K on it. And I made sure the treadmill was facing the window, facing the open. I couldn't even put a podcast on to zone out on it. I had to put on a music to keep pushing, just to keep going through it. But man, it's tough. It's boring as hell. Like you need to be out there. Like, and I think treadmills are great for, and we've talked about this before, the shorter runs, keeping pace, like keeping a 420, 430 pace, whatever it is, over a 5, 6K, 7K maybe. But 10 or longer, it just gets boring. And even intervals can be good. Building towards if you're going for a 4-minute kilometer or stuff like that, getting that your 2-minute rest, and then just hitting that pace to get you up to a 4-minute kilometer, and just looking at the countdown, trying to get down to that, and then going back to your break. Those things are great, but for long runs on a treadmill, be god awful. Yeah. This virtual marathon has to be. Treadmills aren't allowed, by the way. It has to be an outdoor thing.
Yeah. You do have to get out and about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's a tricky one. I would love if people message us who are thinking of doing it and letting us know what their mentality of the approach is. Or now, I'd imagine what it will be is it can be a good bonding thing. Now, if me and you were going to do it, I'd imagine we'd bring on 2 or 3 people that were going to like be at certain places if we needed certain things. And so you're not carrying everything, like, because people like me and you haven't ran a marathon with a bag in our back with all the water and all the gizmos and gadgets. And as we always say, if you haven't trained with it, don't do it on the day. And it's not ours, but we kind of rely on all the resources. So maybe that's our fault for relying on that. But that's what we've gotten accustomed to. Maybe we should change what we're doing. But there could be a good bond for people who are getting out there with their families and stuff, like, I'm going to do this and get behind it. And hopefully we'll see more of the charity runs coming back and people doing it for individual causes. And it will be absolutely amazing. And I think with this one, if I knew someone going for a virtual run, I'd actually love to go and support them rather than do it myself. I think I'd be a better supporter for someone and giving them the right things at the right times that they don't even know they need. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just soft. Maybe I'm just looking for excuses not to do it.
Well, not to pat you in the back. Because the second time I did it, you didn't do it. You were a lifesaver, because I remember texting you going, one of the tips if you're doing your first marathon is you need Vaseline for the eyebrows and stuff, so sweat doesn't go in the eyes. It's like, Eric, I'm after forgetting it. And like my runs was a really hot day, and we've been lucky the last 3 years doing Dublin City Marathon in terms of being just a beautiful day out. And I got the cast and knock, and there you are running beside me, give me the Vaseline and stuff, thrown away. Here, take this drink, and into you. You met me 2 times. You met me up the top of I think near UCD or something. You met me as well. I'm not too sure. You a couple of people to follow.
Walking town, mile 13, 14. I met you, ran with you for about. I was in my jeans and runners. For a mile.
But even when I was finished, my mom met me then afterwards, and she wasn't there the first year. She was there, see me a bit. You all right? Like, I barely walk. I was like, yeah. I was on an awful way, so much so that when I finished, I was in a heap. And your mom was like, do you need help or anything like that? You've done it. Don't be the superhero. Take the wheelchair. And he was offering me a wheelchair. So I genuinely couldn't walk. My lower back froze, something shocking. And only that my mom was there, I would have been like, yeah, I'll take the wheelchair. I would have taken.
And you're not getting it back for 3 days.
Had I rolled up to mom like Professor X out of the X-Men with a fucking wheelchair on me, she would have lost her shit completely, and that would have been it. Like, so I was like, I can't do that to her. But I got up there and I was in bits, and we took the picture, whatever. I was like, I was in a bad way. I was pale. And there you were, hot soup. I swear to God, not just saying it was a podcast. Hot soup and all given to me. I'm like, you're a lifesaver.
Yeah. And this is
taking away.
This is the thing people don't realize, and it's happened to me and you all the times we've done it. After 35, 36K, you start to get cold. You start
100%, yeah.
You get freezing. You go really cold when your body is just like, here, pal, I think you're trying to kill me. So
I was done for it. And at the end, as great as it is, I was only talking to someone this week in the gym about it because they're asking if I was doing a virtual marathon. I don't know, because that last 6-7K is torture. And you talked about, your calves and your hamstring almost giving out, and I was a bit. My back always gives out, and I'd be limping at the end. I could barely walk, put my legs up or whatever, and I'm just like, I actually lost my train of thought where I was going with that, to be totally honest with you. But just, that's it. I was completely gone. I'm like, oh my God, I will never do this again. I'm leaning against barricades, look across other people in absolute bits. But you forget about that. And then you just remember the high about doing the marathon. And part of the high is the crowds. The rows in the glass come on, and all of a sudden, and they get you, because this year with the numbers being capped for the 40,000 for the 40th marathon, and they were like, the very next week, I'll never forget, they're like, if you sign up for next year, you better do it right now. And you had a week's notice, and I was like,
yeah.
And 2-3 days, I was like, no, I'm done, won't do it again. 2-3 days later, I was like, that was a great day out. I absolutely loved that. And of course, I signed up again. I really enjoyed it, and away I go. But we go back to it. Would you get that experience in the virtual marathon?
You would. There is the personal satisfaction. And anyone who's listening to us, who does a bit out there, they do enjoy that personal satisfaction of completion, and it's that ability to just complete something, continue with it, and it's absolutely amazing. It's fantastic what people can do. I don't know. I do enjoy the buzz of the event. The buzz of the event is one of the best aspects of the race, and when that's missing, I don't did you really do the marathon? I know you got the, it's
I don't know where my medals are. I don't know where especially the first one we did. I don't know where that medal is. I lost that technical teeth in the first one.
I did find actually it is somewhere. I have actually retrieved it. It's in a drawer. I've got now a medal drawer. I was moving between home and different places, and I found that I was like, oh, that was
Jonathan Swift.
Yeah, Jonathan Swift is now my least favorite man. He reminds me of the most hardship I've ever had in my life. But so it's it will be great, and hopefully people do get involved. Personally, it might not be for me this year, but if virtual races is the way to go, then absolutely. In work, they're actually running the marathon on the 23rd of September, and it's where I've done most of my training, and it's very flat, and it's very forgiving, and it's beautiful, and you can actually know what way the wind is going to be blowing and what's the best way to go about it. I would run a marathon around there, no problem, and because I know it's so familiar, but there's something about running down streets that you you shouldn't be on. It adds to that whole experience. Whereas if you're running in the city, you're running on paths, you've traffic lights, you've cars, you've bikes, you're running between people. There's so many things that can, that mental, as we said, it's the mental edge. There's so many things that can just tweak it enough to make you go, feck this. I've had enough. Sure, there's people in my way, and the excuse sector comes in. Whereas when you're doing the race, there's so many people running past you if you stop. And then your family are at the finish line. So the excuses are irrelevant. It's, I need to get there. I don't care how long it takes, but I have to get there. It's a mission more than reasons to stop. I can't stop because it's reasons to keep going on the day. Whereas when no one's around, there's no crowd, I think it'd just be an easy fall.
And you don't know who's in those crowds on the way up. There's a fair few times I've been in the crowds and like, hey, Sean! And I just passed them like, I don't know who that was in the wave, and you get the Instagram DM later. It's like, I saw you at such and such. I'm like, I am so sorry. And you always know when you get into the bigger crowds. And that first song, we really struggled. When I got a little bit quiet, we walked. And we got to the crowds like, we better buckle up, put our big boy pants on, and get through this crowd. We got through the big crowd. Oh my God, I can't keep this going.
There is a point around mile 15 where the big crowd doesn't. It kind of just keeps going as well. And we actually got to a stage where we couldn't even run in front of the crowd. We were in such a bad way. But it is brilliant, and I'm looking forward to seeing people do it. I really am. I think times are difficult, times are changing. It's bizarre times we're in, and if people can get out and do it, and there will be a lot of people, but they're better people than me this year. I just don't think I'm ready to fully convert to the virtual marathon for myself.
If you are doing it, you have to sign up before this Friday, July 24th, I think it is.
It is,
and they have different options for that as well. I think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm actually. I'm hemming and hawing because I love just the tradition of it. That's the worst thing I lost on. It wasn't Now, if I do it, it's not going to be a PB or anything like that. And obviously, I haven't run 2 weeks and all the rest.
Is it
but
still
just the traditional October bank holiday
weekend?
It's still the same bank holiday, yeah.
Yeah.
I still have the Monday to recover. I won't be in work the Monday regardless.
Yeah.
Like so,
I can't believe you're doing it.
I think I have to do it. I'm gonna have to find something that makes it an event for myself. I've looked this up. I know you're not supposed to do the route or anything like that, but I could do from my house in Wicklow to the finish line. A lot of it by the coast, and then coming in near the end would take me 42.2k.
Oh,
that's how much I've thought about it. Where I'd finish in the city centre and just go along the coast and stuff.
I wasn't thinking of making a Gucci like that at all. Now I was just like running laps from place.
And I would finish out near Marion Square and have it done. I was thinking that, or just like I did a cycle the other day. I did a cycle from where I am now out in Kildare, and it was a 40k cycle, and purposely a 40k cycle. And I was, passing a couple of old, like my current workplace in Lucan, a couple of old workplaces along the way through Leakslip and, through Minute and all the rest. And I was like, this is not a bad idea. And I got to that big Strafford road. I'm like, I can't run on this road. So that's it, that out. Yeah. I've done that once by mistake. I'm like, there's certain roads you can't run on. Yeah. On big main roads where it's a, 80, 100k limit. I'm like, I'm not doing that. But it's just, I need.
How long is the Greenway in Waterford?
I was supposed to be there last week.
Yeah.
The great, yeah.
I think that's about 40k, is it? Or 25 out and 25 back or something. Yeah, we'd have to look that up. That could be an option.
I was supposed to be down there.
I'm still not doing it, but you can.
Yeah, I could. We're with ourselves. We're supposed to go down there the start of July. It was last week. And we booked it the start of June. I was like, I'm not too sure. She was dying to get away. And just, everyone is, cooked up in houses and all the rest. She's working from home. I was like, right, well, okay, we'll do it. And then we booked it 2 days later. I was like, I think that's a bad idea. And she's like, why? I was like, I have a feeling like we'll be back to work on June 29th. The gym's been open. And I can't ask for, time off 2 weeks after the gym just being open again and getting back to doing what I love doing. And all. I genuinely want to be back as well. And I couldn't say, hey, look, I know under pressure and all, but I'm after booking this side. But luckily we got the cancellation now. But I think you're onto something there. That or heading down to Kerry, the ring of Kerry, or so. I don't have the whole or just Connemara. There's a great marathon out that way. That I was personally training with a guy, and he was supposed to do the half marathon out there, but just that kind of open stretch. If you got a great day for that, I know there's hills and stuff, but somewhere you hadn't been before, point A to point B. Once again, you have to get picked up at point B or get a taxi out to point A to get started to bring yourself back, and then. I don't know, stash the Lucasade along the way. That's the other thing. Could I do it without that? I don't know because
you have to get used to running with a backpack.
Yeah, get running with a backpack because that last marathon, I'd pick up a bottle of Lucasade and I'd sip it until the next Lucasade station, which would be a good 7-8k, if not more. And I wouldn't mind having a hand, little sips away at it, and just kept me. I didn't take the gels or anything like that because I didn't train with the gels. I didn't feel like doing something a day that I didn't train with, just because I didn't know when my bodily functions would act, not to get too grossed out with the people listening or anything like that.
I've seen a few people on the run that didn't work out for them, and it wasn't pretty.
The Phoenix Park, 100%.
Yeah, there was and there were white shorts as well.
Jesus,
look,
Jesus.
It's part of the game. Look, it happens. Unfortunately, it happens.
It is. You need a couple of pit stops along the way.
Well, I'm glad you've thrown down the gauntlet for yourself.
I think so.
Signed up to doing all this crazy stuff with everyone we've interviewed over the last little while. So
you can't. You signed up for all that. Yeah, you're going away for a couple of months now.
I'm going away. I will not be back. This is the last episode we will do in country together. So, actually, I'm going to raise this point. Someone raised a point with us about the quality of our podcast.
Yeah.
And we do apologize. It is coronavirus. We're using what we have, resources. And if it does frustrate you listening, we really do apologize. But unfortunately, you better get used to Zoom podcasts because I am heading off and going doing some warm weather training myself. I'm gone until next February, March. So this is what we're looking at. So this Friday you have to sign up, and I am absolutely escaping the country this Friday. So I don't know. I'll think on it. I've a lot going on here, trying to pack up things and stuff. But I will think on it because it's going to be quite warm. So come October, it's probably going to be around the 25-degree mark. So I don't know if the virtual marathon will do, but I'll think about it. I will think about it.
Do you know what? Before we wrap up this episode of the podcast, you know what else is around 25-degree mark?
Oh no.
The Madrid in April.
Oh yeah, I knew you were going.
I'm just saying. I mean, like, you can't use that excuse. I mean, that's the only reason the podcast started looking to begin with before we built it out from here.
At the minute, where I'm going is, I think it's 37 degrees at the minute. So
can't run it.
I can't imagine myself getting out there to start the heart rate training because I think my heart will stop. But look, I am going to be training. It'll probably scale back for a couple of months. But I'll be, the fitness will build, and there'll probably be a lot of indoor treadmill stuff, and see what we can do. But yeah. So we'll all will be revealed, I suppose, through our Instagram where I'm going. Don't want to give the secret away yet. Yeah. But so we'll see how we go, and we'll see how the running goes, and I suppose we'll be keeping in touch with a lot of virtual runs and a lot of things we have on the horizon as well with stuff that's coming down the road with the Any Given Runday as well. So it's gonna be interesting for people to stay tuned. There's little teasers there. I love dropping in them little teasers.
I was just about to say I had the outro lined up on that cliffhanger, on that bombshell, I suppose. Thank you once again for listening to this episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. Eric, I'm assuming you've got nothing else to add at the end of that.
Nah, I'm happy out now.
we'll leave that little teaser, just settle a little bit in that one.
Thank you once again. Passport.
Thank you once again for listening to the podcast. And if you do have any suggestions, drop us a DM, or even if you see the promotional post for this episode of the podcast, drop it in the comments if you have any ideas or something you might be doing for the virtual marathon if you are doing this year. If you've got some idea for an event or something like that might help inspire others, or let us know in the Any Given Runday Running Club. And on that note, from myself and from Eric, thank you very much for listening to this week's episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. I was doing so well.
You were.
I was doing so. Yeah, I got excited. I got a rush of blood to the head. I got too excited there towards the end.
If you're not careful, I might get rid of you and replace you.
You know what? I'm going to let you do the outro. Your last one here. You know what? I'm going to sit back. You handle the outro of this week's end of the podcast. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, it's been fun. We're going to continue next week. We're going to have lots of differences. But thanks so much for tuning in again. It's been absolutely lovely. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening. We're going to catch you again next Monday with some brand new material and some more tips and tricks on all the running. Thanks very much for listening, and take care. That's how you do an outro, Sean. God's sake, it's not that hard.
That was too good. Bye.
Bye.